New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello, and welcome. Hello, Shay. So good to be here with all of you. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil. And is my shirt backwards?
Not as I can see.
Okay, it's only on my screen that it's backwards. Okay, good to know.
And that is much like life, people, so we're glad you're here. Sometimes what you think is happening is only happening in your head.
That's
so there we go. So today we're going to talk about Loud and Proud, the art of being seen. So welcome. It is June, which means it's Pride Month. So we want to celebrate that. We want to just give a shout out to everybody out there that's proud and celebrating. And we're going to delve more into that during the month. But today we're just talking truly about the art of being seen. And I don't know what happens energetically when we stop hiding, and what that looks like and what that means and
what does hiding mean?
Yeah, what he said. But before we do that, before we dive into all of that, we are going to ask you to like us. It's a good exercise.
Push the buttons.
Push.
Move your mouse. Click on things.
That's right.
Randomly click on things.
Yeah. I can't believe it's June.
It is June. We have gone through 5/12 of this year already.
Right. But I mean, really, like somebody said, oh, we're not going to do that till June today. So we're not going to do that till June. And then we were like, it is June. It's and it felt like when they said it, like there was at least a month in there. I do have to say though, amidst all of this, I am glad that your ordination and all that hoopla is over.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot. We've been going through a lot over the past few months, the move and everything. And a lot getting to it. And there was talk about, should we wait until September? No, because we would have had all this angst going till September. Now we can have space for new angst.
Yeah, and look, he's come into the room with us.
What?
Well, what about my ordination?
If you would like me to help prepare your ordination, I will give you a discounted rate.
You will?
Sure.
Oh, you mean you're not going to charge me? You're not going to charge me $100,000? Well,
I'm not going to charge you what I charged him. He's going to be paying for a lifetime. So.
Well, that's next up is planning my hopefully
okay
ordination.
Well,
okay.
We're
all about celebrations. Just give us notice. So if we got to get
just give you notice. Okay. Real good. And of course I have stuff up on my screen. Okay. Goodbye.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Thank you. And that was our fabulous producer, Michael Mangus, Reverend Michael Mangus, the soon to be ordained Reverend Michael Mangus. So You might have been missing him over the past month or so on New Thought Media Network, Fridays at 6 p.m. Mountain. But he'll be back. Trust us. We can't get rid of him, so we know he'll be back. Anyway, okay, so back to us. So, how's your week been?
My week's been okay. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago that we saw a acupuncturist recently, and we went back yesterday, and oh my God, whatever it is that he does is just, I think it's really good, but I don't know yet because it's so intense for me.
Yeah.
And he's not just putting in the needles, he puts in the needles and then he sends electric charges through them to do whatever that might do to one's body. And whatever that does, man, does it affect me. I mean, my first complaint there was my back and my arm, and those all cleared up within about 2 weeks after seeing him the first time. It took a little while for the final residual to go away, but it basically just dissipated. And most of it dissipated within the first day or two. So anyway, so what I'm saying is, ultimately it's good, but man, it wears me out.
Yeah.
When I go.
Well, and it's good noticing it. It's good for you to take note right now of what you're feeling, because you said you're experiencing some depression and feelings, and you should really communicate that to him, because you are opening up different portals, and so, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. However, it's all leading you to the next thing. And so I really think it's important just to take note of your results right now and then tell them that.
Okay. Good idea. So anyway, my week is okay. I'm excited about what's coming up. I'm happy that we are going to get away a little bit, even though I know it'll be a lot. And, but I'm still really just need a change of scenery, not even necessarily a break, if you will, but just a change.
Well, and I gotta say, we're California kids.
Yeah.
It's like just knowing that there's an ocean there and feeling that ocean air, and seeing green trees and lawns and things that are of a nature type, our picture of nature.
Okay.
Let me finish the sentence. It's a different, it's like a different calming to your body, to my body.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Go ahead.
But what it strikes me is us looking at real estate online just for fun. And the thing I noticed about one of the houses was it had beautiful big green trees. That made me really happy.
Yeah. Well, and me too.
And that is not something that would have happened when snooping around things online in California, because everybody had a tree. There was always trees, And
I think it's really important to note, because like you love like hiking in the mountains and all of that. And I like it, I like being there. I like looking at it, but it's not my happy place, however, I do notice here, it's like, yeah, when I see trees, I'm so happy, or lawn, like the other day when you said, how come they have that much lawn? Because it was all green. I was like, I don't know, but I want it. It's like, I just have the image of like laying down in the grass and rolling in it. It's like, that doesn't happen in New Mexico a lot. Grass or trees. Trees, but
yeah.
They look different.
It's a different kind of thing. It's a different kind of beauty. It's a different kind of whatever. And sometimes you miss some of the stuff that you've had in other places, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Nothing wrong with it. It's just different, and sometimes it's an adjustment.
It is that.
So what about your week? Did you say what your week was like?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, what was it like?
My week is good. It's just, uh, back to back. It's like there's, and I, I cringe when, I come off of a meeting and someone says, okay, so will you, and then they have like a whole project in mind for me, and so it's really just, interesting to, I feel like I'm going into meetings and things with a lot more clarity of like, I can, this is what I'm here to do, or this is what I'm willing to do. And then it's also easier to see where I want to hold on because I want to make sure it's done right. But I really don't have any interest in doing it. I just want to make sure that it's done right so that I don't have to redo it. So yeah, it's been that kind of a week. I mean, some really great, exciting things and things I'm looking forward to, and other things, like the whole thing with the Pride Festival. I'm looking forward to releasing. that's enough said. But it's a good week. It's a good week. I'm excited. I haven't been really excited about California, but I am. I mean, I think that's mostly coming from a fear space of like, how are we going to eat when we're there?
Are we really going to go?
Yeah, are we really going to get there? But we will get there. We're going for a couple of memorials and some family stuff, and then I get to go to my dentist, who I love and trust, and is going to help my teeth.
Yay!
Not that funny. Yay. And that is all good news, but we've got more. We've got more where that came from. So tell us, what's going on in the world that's good that we don't get to hear about unless we tune in to Rockin the Love.
Woohoo!
Tell us what you got.
Well, I got the story of a entrepreneur in Louisville, Kentucky, and he has owned, I guess, a Steak and Shake locally, a franchise. And at some point, he was sitting in his church at a service and realized that he needed to do something more. He needed to serve in a different way. And so he's now, in addition to his other restaurant, opened something called Noah's Kitchen. Noah's Kitchen. And in the first year, he's dedicated it to donate 100% of its profits.
Wow.
And in the first year, he has given away over $100,000 from that endeavor. And so, of course, everyone that's coming in is contributing because they're paying for the food, and it's like you get to do something good when you're doing something you kind of need to do anyway, which is eat. And so it's a win-win for everybody.
Nice.
And he supported some really cool. He gave rescued $44,000, and Camberwell Grief Sanctuary, the Prisoner's Hope, Sunrise Children's Services, and a bunch of other nonprofits in the area that he supported with anything between $1,000 and $45,000, basically. So I think that's great, and and it's a gift, and I think it's just when somebody's willing to put that kind of work in for something like that and have a vision and a mission, and that's pretty cool. So anyway,
It's very cool.
Salute Mr. Noah's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Great job.
It's very cool, and it's so, I mean, the gift, I don't even know if he knows the power of the gift he gives, really. I mean, because when, our spiritual centers or other organizations that I've worked with get a check for $1,000, $10,000, $20,000, $44,000, that's huge. It's life changing.
Yeah.
It makes all the difference in the world. So I really appreciate, not only someone doing that, but being willing to not live in that place of all the other things he could be doing
Right.
with the money.
Well, he could be, building his empire, if you will.
He could be vacationing in Tahiti.
And I think it's also kind of fun. What they serve at the restaurant is plates of elevated comfort food.
I'm not sure.
For instance, they have a chicken parmesan sandwich, which is crispy, saucy, and melty.
Okay, don't talk about food. Okay, good job. Fun. All right. Well, my story actually stems from this my pathway to mysticism class that all of you have missed because you didn't sign up, and is going fabulously. We watched a movie this week, and we watched Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Yes, Remarkably Bright Creatures.
Remarkably Bright Creatures with Sally Field. And for those of you who don't know, it's a story about a woman and people with an octopus. And so this story struck me because of that. And this is a story about a runner who in Florida who was out on a run when she saw a turtle, and she saved this turtle. And it was she was jogging along, and she noticed the turtle had washed up, and so she noticed the turtle was struggling, and she knew something was wrong, and so she tried to call someone, and she called her around, and she put it out on TikTok. And she finally contacted the Clearwater Marine Aquarium Animal Helpline. And the staff asked her to stay there with the turtle and to just, remain with it until the coordinators could reach the beach. And so she did. And she just wanted to make sure that nobody could move the turtle. And in the midst of this, the turtle started having, making movements that she knew weren't good. And so she was on the phone with them, and she was afraid to touch it because it's an endangered species and there's laws against touching them. And she was talking to the people who were like, it's okay, it's not going to be illegal. This is you're protected by the Good Samaritan Act as well. But she knew she had to do what she had to do. So she did. So she moved the turtle up out of the water, and she wrapped the turtle in like a blanket, and she sat with the turtle for hours. And literally her friend got there before even the rescue people with blankets and pizza, and they sat there waiting until it had gotten dark, and the rescue people got there with their flashlights, and this went on for over 3 hours that she just stayed with the turtle. And then when they got there and they took it away and all of that, and they told her that the turtle had been affected by a cold wave, that there had been like 30 turtles that had been stunned in a cold wave in the ocean and weren't able to function in the same way. And so they took the turtle and they rehabbed the turtle, and they had to integrate him into like deep skills to be back in the deep water. And he had some kind of virusy thing, and they took care of him and everything. And he was a really sick guy, and they gave him antibiotics and all of that. And then finally on May 28th, they were able to just allow him to go and to swim on and back home, and let him out with another sea turtle that had been cleared for release. And they said that she definitely saved his life. And, that most people wouldn't have stayed that long or cared, So that's the story.
All right. somebody taking the time to do something for someone else
Yep.
without thought of remuneration, etc.
Well, and time and space, and she
Yeah.
was in her running clothes, and it got cold and dark, and she didn't leave until it was time. Not to mention that they say that it's probably the first time any turtle has experienced a pizza party on the beach.
I'm thinking so. And I'm just hoping that they didn't feed it pepperoni pizza, because I don't know if that would be healthy for a turtle.
So anyway, it's just like incredible that when people take that time, and we don't know what we're affecting. I mean, I was thinking, like, in the big scheme of life, like one sea turtle, and someone sitting there, and just how things like that happen all over the world that are connected.
Well, for anyone who hasn't seen the movie Remarkably Bright Creatures, or whatever the
That's it.
official title is,
That's
Remarkably Bright Creatures, this whole idea of oneness is one of the main ideas of the movie, and the fact that we truly have interactions with all of life.
Yeah.
Even though we think we can only speak and interact with humans, it's not really quite accurate.
It's true. So if you want to see it, it's available exclusively on Netflix, and we recommend it. So
We do not get anything for it, just that way.
we don't. All that goes to our producers fund, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
All proceeds from Netflix go to the producers fund.
There you go. So that's the story. That's the good news. And we'll have more good news when we come back, and when we talk about really, what it's really like to be witnessed and be out in the world. That's the story. We'll see you in a few minutes right back here on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you. Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk, Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Unity of Garden Park, New Thought Philadelphia, the Sunshine Cathedral, Unity of Savannah, and the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.
Hello, and we're back, and it's so great to see half of Gil's face. This is what happens when he's multitasking. All right, so welcome back. Today we are gonna dive into the heart of what it means to be alive and awake and aligned, and that's what we're doing right here on Rockin the Love. I'm Robyn, and I'm here with the luminous Gil. And today we're opening June with a celebration, really, of authenticity and courage, and just the sacred art of being seen. What is that like? Because pride, everybody goes, "Oh, it's June, it's Pride." Pride is more than just a parade or a month or a date on the calendar. It's really spiritual principle, and it's the willingness to stand in your truth, to really love boldly, and to let your life be a testament to freedom in some ways. So it doesn't matter whether you identify as LGBTQ plus, or as an ally, or simply as a human being learning to live out loud. This is a conversation for you. So join in. We love to hear your thoughts, and let's see what happens. So yes, pride. I think. How would you define pride? I mean, because we all know pride, proud, but like as a metaphysical alignment with pride.
I think what it's really about is it's really two things to me. Well, it's a whole lot of things, but it's on the one hand being willing to be seen authentically, showing up and being who you are. And on the other hand, it is a way to be seen, period. For other people to acknowledge who you really are, who one really is. It's a both and thing.
Yeah, well, I think being seen is a good perspective to start with, because I think, like, when I think of pride, like when I think metaphysically, I think of energy, and there's an energy to when I'm proud of something.
Mm-hmm.
There's an energy to what I feel, how that aligns in my body, and so I think what you just said, I think that, yeah, there's an energy there.
Well, I think, if you go into history, what you've had is a group of people that have been, for at least many years, many hundreds of years probably, sidelined and, made to fit in with the rest of society, because if they didn't, they would be extremely punished, if you will, by the rest of society.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to stand proudly for who you are is an incredible gift. It's a release, it's an opening, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, people who think that they can shut someone out by not seeing them discover that that's not the truth. You can't pretend that something isn't there, that people aren't there, that there isn't, that somehow somebody's value doesn't count. And we've seen this over and over in racism, and in how women have been, sexism, and women have been treated, and how, all these different areas where the attempt has been to push aside and pretend that there's nothing there. So, when you have all of the brilliant Black inventors, and all of the women who have done these things and led groups and people, and we pretend that didn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
as a society. people as a group sort of refuse to see, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I think pride is sort of that celebration of both not being afraid to be who we are, and also to invite others to move through their fear of seeing.
Yeah, and I just, again, no disrespect to Pride Month. Right now, I want to just open that up to the field, because I feel like all of that happens. I mean, even if we get out of the, color, sex, whatever box, sexual preference box, like just where, how do we hold back from that? I mean, from being seen, like, what we like, we don't align with our own authenticity.
Well, because we're looking for validation from the outside.
Well, yeah.
We're looking to be perhaps recognized, perhaps honored, perhaps made to feel good about who we are. And of course, the reality is that we can feel good about who we are when we feel good about who we are, right? No matter what the situation is. And we can also feel bad about who we are, no matter, either way.
Well, and
it's our choice. It's how we're working within ourselves.
yeah, and I think for anybody, especially, I mean, let's face it. I'm going to speak for as a collective consciousness. Just growing up and being a teenager, we all felt other at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, we feel other all throughout the journey, right? And so, again, I'm going back to energy, because it's like I feel like there's this whole energetic shift that happens when we come out, when we allow ourselves to be seen, when we, what you just said, when we become okay with who we are, or we like it. There's a whole different level to, what happens energetically when we stop hiding, when we say, okay.
Yeah, and that is, I think that includes the parts of ourselves that we would like to be different. As long as we keep holding back, then we can't really fully show up.
Yeah.
I mean, when we have to get vulnerable with ourselves and with others to really be out loud, if you will, to really show up.
Right.
And
I
to really be seen. If we're not being all of who we are, we're not being seen. That was my point. I'm going to get there eventually.
Yes, that's my experience with you as well. But yeah, I mean, I think that speaks to one of the qualities of being seen, or allowing yourself to be seen, and I think that's courage. I mean, I think that when we have that courage, whether it's because someone has given us permission, or said, go get them, you can do it, kind of thing, or you just realize that hiding wasn't, sustainable, and it didn't feel good. However it happens, I think that that's what you're speaking to, is when we step into that place, where we allow courage to lead.
Yeah, I want to just acknowledge Shay's comment. I think it was really, interesting. When I did my visioning this week, the answer to the question, what am I becoming? One of the things was proud. I'm becoming proud. I think healthy pride and self-love are intertwined. And yes, and what were we taught as kids? Don't be proud. At least that was, the overlying thing. Because if you're too proud...
Well, don't get a big head.
Don't get a big head.
It wasn't don't be proud. It's like, don't get a big head. Don't think you're more than anybody else, kind of thing. Right?
Yeah. and that is good advice ultimately. But when you mix that with people's reading of the Bible and talking about pride is negative and all these things, people don't honor themselves enough. We all know the people that have the big heads that can't honor other people, but they certainly honor themselves. I think that we have that healthy balance of honoring ourselves in part because we can see and honor others, or we can see and honor others in part because we honor ourselves. When that balance is there, then it's positive.
Right. And taking it back to what you just said, to the message as a kid, I think that's part of the confusion, is that we're told, don't get a big head, don't, you're not better than anybody, everybody's equal, blah, blah, blah. And then you do something, you paint a picture and and someone says, well, what's wrong? You should be proud of that. You're so good at that. You're the best. You're this, you're that. And you're like, wait, what? Like, how do you, as a child, or giving somebody that kind of experience, like, that's a hard, we have to reason that out and find that balance for ourselves. And so some of us let go of the pride. Some of us embody more courage. And, some of us judge that and go, they really shouldn't have that much courage. And all, what I mean? It's a mixed bag of stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's very mixed. And I think about, the people that have self-confidence to a degree that is like wild to me, where they will just jump into anything because they figure they can do it. And I had a friend in high school, and I talked to him. It was shortly after he graduated, I think, and he was telling me about this new job that he got, but he had to go to we went to the library in those days. He had to go to the library to pull out some books to read about how to do it because he didn't know how to do it. He told them he did, and he didn't know, but he wasn't concerned. He just knew he needed to do a little research.
Well, but I think also, yes, and on some level that speaks to like the inner knowingness of, it's like the invitation to come out more. Mm-hmm. Like, if you talk to me about rocket science, I'm not going to go to the thing and look it up. But if you say, can you direct a show? And I've never directed a show, but I've been an actor for 100 years, then I might go, yeah, of course I could, blah, 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 and go research. Mm-hmm. That's not true, by the way. I have directed a show.
And you've not been an actor for 100 years.
This is true. But you know what I'm saying? It's like there's just places that we know is part of our becoming. It's part of our living into. It's an opportunity to step into something that intuitively or in your core that you can do.
Well, I think there's that, but I also think there's the confidence in our own ability to step up, if you will, to the plate and learn something new. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it doesn't have to be, quote, within our wheelhouse. It just has to be something that we can understand a little bit about and go, yeah, I can figure that out.
Right.
Yeah, you could direct a show, sure, which you have, but you could probably also, become a driving instructor.
Right.
Even though that wouldn't necessarily be anything related to your history and line of work, etc.
Right, but all I'm saying is there's a knowingness that it's part of who you are. It's something you can embody. And I think, as we're talking about this, what's coming to me is, and I think this is what this whole month should be about. Okay. I think everyone has coming out story. Everyone has a coming out story about something. It It doesn't matter if it's your sexuality, but we've all lived in that place where we finally admitted, all right, okay, here I am, you know. And I think that's what's important, because it's, you know, generally through witnessing others' courage and stories that we feel empowered as well. You know, I mean, I think that's a good topic to share, because that's really coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and are we willing, as who we are right now, to come out? Like, I know Shay's spoken numerous times on the chat, and on the show about, you know, her becoming, and what, you know, that's coming out, you know, going, okay, this is not who I am anymore. You know, this may not be who I ever was, but I'm coming out. I am this, that, and the other thing, you know? And so, yeah, that's what I think. Because I think that takes courage, you know, and I think there's, you know, even for you, like having just done an ordination, once again, it's a place where, you know, you came out, right? I mean, it's like people asked you, are you willing to commit to this? You know, do you know the truth of who you are? And you had to be in it and accept it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
What are you saying?
You just said you knew.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. You know, I think that's accurate.
So what keeps us from coming out?
Right. I mean, that's really what it is. And I think some of the things that keep us from coming out is that fear that there will be a lack of validation from the outside. You know, that people won't recognize or won't honor what we're bringing forth.
And I think that speaks to, Shay says, safety.
Yep.
I think that speaks to the fear of judgment, you know, because if you know, if they're not supporting me, they don't like me. I mean, it's like a fear of judgment and a fear of, I don't know, losing what you have, whatever that is, relationships, or, you know, people's idea of who you are, you know.
Yeah. You have to feel safe enough to come out of whatever way you're talking about. Thank you, Shay. I see that. And how do we recognize? How do we judge? How do we create safety? And part of that is in our own recognition of ourselves. Because if we truly recognize who we are, then being authentic with the rest of the world is not as scary, because we're not worried about whether or not that makes them happy. You know?
Yeah. And we're not exhausted by trying to be something that we're not.
That, yes.
You know,
yes.
of performing all the time, or doing what's right for this person and what's right for that person, and how can I, you know, trying to make, you know, fake ends meet.
Yeah. I mean, you see it in, you know, every movie. It seems like that somebody is dealing with, you know, either refusing to or trying so hard to show up as who their parents want them to be, you know, kind of thing. There's always that kind of tension, often.
Right. And using a movie is a great example, because it's like, then we have to deal with, what's the balance? What are, you know, are we going to stay small? What's the cost there? I can't do it anymore. What's the reward on the other side? If I do it, you know, blah, blah. I'll get the girl, I'll get the guy, I'll get the raise, you know, whatever it is. So it's like, it's balancing out, you know, what does it cost us to stay small? Because it generally is a big cost, right?
Yeah, interesting you put it that way, because I think we often judge the cost of showing up. of being seen. But we don't take into account, we often take into account what the cost is of doing something, but we don't take into account the cost of not doing it. You know, what does it cost us to not show up authentically? What are we giving up to do that? To show up authentically, this is what it's going to cost. It's this risk here, it's this, it's etc. But what is the cost of not doing it? Because we will often tolerate the costs of not doing it simply because we haven't allowed ourselves to see those as costs and to realize that maybe we are spending too much on this. You know, maybe we are expending too much energy and too much, so maybe we can do this easier or more profitably to our own good if we do something different.
Well, that's an interesting question, or questions. I feel like first I'm going to share Shay's stuff,
Okay.
and then tell you what I think. It cost me absolutely everything I knew to come out of my abusive family. Everything is different now, but I have my freedom and I'm more safe. It feels less safe in other ways.
Yeah. That's just it. There is a cost to the coming out. The question is it really greater than the cost of, the cost of being seen versus the cost of not being seen?
Yes. Here's what I think. I think it all boils down to what we talk about every week. And I think it all boils down to Rockin the Love. It's like pride as a love practice, because we have to love ourselves enough to allow ourselves to be seen in some ways, or we have to love others in order to witness them in the truth of who they are. And I think that when we truly can embody that love on that level of like oneness and allness and inclusiveness, and I don't mean that in the jargony way that it sounds, but I mean really in a practice of seeing humanity differently, much like the homeless guy story the other day. Well, then love becomes that act of freedom, of liberation, of allowing everybody to be who they are. Right?
Yeah. I mean, our chance to see other people is so important as well. And part of that seeing is honoring them where they are. Honoring them and who they're being is not judging what we think about them because of what we think we know about them. Does that make sense?
I think so.
I mean, we see somebody in a certain situation, we assume, oh, well, they must be in this situation because of A, B, and C. And so therefore, if they do this, then I will respond this way because I have already determined how they should be treated or what their thought is about me or what, all that stuff,
Yeah, it's a complicated thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important that, to investigate, like really when we stop hiding and when we can really stand in that moment of being proud, like that embodiment of spirit and how spirit, anchors that and sees you and is you and how you can display that in a different way. And, I think it's a beautiful integrative thing.
Well, I'll just share this found this in three ideas about how to really be seen as an art, and one of them is vulnerability as resistance, meaning not showing up as the curated, polished, whatever that we think the world wants to see, but showing up as our authentic selves. That is being seen, right? And the courage to be witnessed, which again goes to that fear of being seen for who we really are. And then finally, we have to show up and see others. Because if we don't see others, then they can't see us. It becomes that circle.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we close today, may you remember this. Being seen is not a performance. It's a prayer. It's your authenticity is a blessing, and your truth is a lighthouse. And every time you choose to show up as the fullness of who you are, we give someone else the permission to do the same. So we're just holding that thought, holding that energetic, and we thank you for spending time with us on Rockin the Love. We honor your courage and your voice and your presence in this community and beyond. If you have a story that you want to share, coming out story, we'd love to hear it. So email us, put it in the chat. We'll connect with you, and just, carry this week like a quiet rainbow, and just remember that your life really is, it's a work of art. Your story is worthy, and your love is needed in this world. So till next time, let yourself be seen and keep on rocking the love.
Rock
See you
it.
next week. Bye, Shay.